Good evening. Welcome to another Dark Encounters and a DETV live lockdown, where we are broadcasting live from an investigation that we are carrying out. So this one, we are not only in a new location for these lives, the amazing location that is Fort Widley, but we have some investigators with us who are currently down beginning their investigation, and we will be tracking what happens to them for the rest of the evening. Now, if anyone doesn't know this area, Fort Widley is a rather spectacular fort built on Portsdown Hill, part of at least 5 forts built right across the top of the hill to defend Portsmouth from an inland attack. Many people think it's pointed the wrong way, but the fear was that, in fact, there are plenty of forts right out along the south coast of Portsmouth and out at sea, the Morton Lake Towers. But they realised that if anyone came in from either Gosport or in from Chichester Harbour direction, they could come inland, set up campment on the hill, and then bomb Portsmouth. So the forts put there facing inland to protect Portsmouth. And this is one of the 5 forts. If anyone can name the others, I'll be very impressed. But in fact, there's at least 7 because there's doubts as well. So it produces quite a whole chain right along the top of Portsdown Hill. So what we're going to be doing this evening is we have cameras set up in this enormous fortification, not only in the rooms, the upper rooms, but in the tunnels as well. Now, very often we talk about being in the tunnels of Fort Widley, and obviously we're looking at this. It's a hill fort, so what are you talking about tunnels for? That's because there is a moat dug all the way around, which in this picture I'm showing you with this is the inland view. And you can see the grassy moat that's all the way around. And on the edges are the thing they call the caponiers, and they are fortifications that look out into the moat. And they effectively allow defence. If anyone trying to get in onto the fort, they have to climb down into this 25-foot deep moat, and they can be attacked. And they are the caponiers. And we have, for example, the North Caponier. So even though you have gone all the way through inland, you can then come out into an open area that's actually inside the moat. Oh, nice little orb flying across. So we have a camera set up in North Caponier. We can move that. We have a stationary picture at the moment, but we will be moving it. And we also have a picture in the West Caponier in what we call the colonnades. It's a series of column structure, which again is actually part of a mortar battery, again, to defend. In fact, that picture I just showed you, you can actually see the West Caponier at the bottom right of that picture. So in fact, the little grassy bit at the bottom is the actual colonnade. So in fact, the outer area is actually being shown on that picture. But what does it look like actually in terms of structure? Well, it looks like this. So you can see that we have quite a sizable structure. I am up in the upper rooms at the moment, at the bottom of this picture, those rooms. And there is that tunnel, the south tunnel, that runs all the way down to a central spiral staircase. And in fact, I can say that we have a camera for that as well. This is looking down the spiral staircase. Oh, nicely out of focus on demand. So there are rumours about what happened in this spiral staircase. This is looking down it. So you can't see, but the steps are just in the darkness at the bottom of it. So if anyone comes up or any noises happen in that spiral staircase, we will hear it on that camera. And so you can see at the top of this picture is the North Caponier, and that is where this picture is. That is in the North Caponier. And then into the left of this is the West Caponier rather. So the far left-hand, top left is that corner picture, which is outside looking there. And the daylight that's coming in from the left hand is actually what we can see bottom right of this picture. And that gives you an indication of what we are looking at. I just talked about the spiral staircase. Well, this is actually looking down. So in fact, where the camera is positioned at the moment, if I could tilt it a little bit further, you would basically be seeing that picture. I'm worried about it over there. So moment, it's slightly pulled back that of the live picture. Any sounds you hear will be coming from that. And we have looking in one of the upper rooms as well. I'm going to put a little bit of extra light looking into that. It's looking through a doorway into some other rooms, and it will hopefully get a little bit darker. And you should penetrate that once the night vision is on. So those are the rooms. And hello, welcome. Oh, we have an investigator. You can see that we are COVID compliant. That was Sam with a mask on. probably not even realising that he's currently live at the moment. So they are getting set up in their investigations. We have teams up in the North Caponia, teams in the West Caponia, and they are going to start doing this stuff. And the advantage is that we can look at locked off cameras, and then we can then allow people to watch and get updates about what's happening. So what are people saying in the rooms? So they're talking about all the different forts. So Trish is saying Brockhurst, we do Fort Brockhurst, but it's not one of the 5. So Trish does mention the others. She is saying Fort Pembroke, Widley, Southwark and Nelson. 5th, Wallington, well, and technically Fareham as well. So you've got those going down the other side. Then there's a whole chain that go all the way down into Gosport, Fort Brockhurst being the most northerly one, actually felt furthest. But that's all part of that other chain that's defending Gosport. I do hope to be doing one from Fort Brockhurst in the future. It's a great location. But English Heritage are a little bit nervous about doing anything like this at the moment, but hopefully we will. So welcome everyone, welcome watching. Hope everyone's all right. Hope everyone's had a good week. If there's any questions you've got for me or anything you want to know about Fort Widley, do let me know. I'll do my best to explain what's happening. And who knows, you might even move the cameras into position so you can see what's going on. Jill's asking, do you think they're having IT issues already? I don't know. Is there a problem? I think we're all right at the moment. Seem to be broadcasting. We are limited signals. Bizarrely, we've got these 2 masts up here, but in fact, this fort structure is so strong that it's actually very difficult to get a signal out at all. Kelly's already seen 2 orbs flying around in the north. There is a lot of dust. If anyone's ever been to the forts, you know just how dusty these forts are. And yes, there's a lot of dust in this. So, what else can I tell? Just reading the messages. Sorry, talking about yourself. Again, the central spiral staircase. I'll tell you some legends about that later, but that's one of the most exciting areas. For those who haven't been, you enter a place like this. So this is the bottom of the south tunnel. It leads all the way down to the central spiral. Beyond that door is then this central spiral. And then you have these dark tunnels, which I then showed you in this video. Which nicely shows how you basically walk from the North Tunnel all the way up to the Central Spiral, and then we would just been entering into the South Tunnel as if we're going to come back up to the surface. So I am going to put you on and let you watch some cameras while I shut up. That way I can switch off the microphones and you'll only be hearing the room that I'm projecting. Kelly's saying that she doesn't like feeling in the swirl stairs. Yes, there's plenty of legends about what happens in that spiral staircase, which I'm going to tell you later. So let's have a listen to the spiral staircase and let me know if you hear or maybe even see anything happening in that area. Oh, there's a great little orb flying to North Caponia. Maybe I just need to put that up. Now, there is a projecting light into that space, and that is behind the camera. So any insects flying around that camera will be illuminated, being shown up as an orb. But I'm going to remove these and leave you with the spiral staircase for it. The reason I showed you that was that Ben had said that he saw a goat, and strange enough, there were loads of goats outside. So I thought I'd try and get a picture of the goats, but it's a bit difficult to get signal outside. But if you do hear them, there are sheep upstairs in the spiral staircase, and there are goats outside the door. So if you suddenly see me turn around, it's because the goats have turned up behind me. What was people saying? Haley has experienced stuff in the peep room. It's not very nice. It's not indeed. Loads of people have reacted to that. And James said he saw this every day. We lived there, but never been. Only to the tunnels nearby. Which tunnels then? Maybe the D-Day tunnels. Hi, Jeff. How are you doing? He loves this venue. Yes, it's quite pleasant at the moment. It's lovely and warm. Slightly different, of course, when it is freezing cold. We're very often here in January. So let me show you the spiral staircase and let me know if you hear anything up there. So this is one of the upper rooms. Going through, you see several doors. Leave this camera going, or let me know what you see.
Can you throw that to me? That's what it sounded like. No, it's not that metal. Yeah, but that's quite a tingy. It was higher pitch than that. Like a light necklace. Yeah.
So Teresa was asking, is it facing the upper rooms? No, that room actually isn't, because it has a corridor that leads to the front rooms, which is actually then the caretaker's apartments. I am in a room here. We've opened the windows, so there's a nice blow through for this room, so plenty of ventilation. Yes, there's loads of road noise, there's motorbike showing past. You might be picking it up, but the room showing up as the upper room doesn't actually have any windows facing the front of the fort, which is where the main road is. Just to remind you where we are tonight, we are up at Fort Widley on Portsdown Hill. We have cameras in the upper rooms, which is the bottom of this picture. We have a spiral staircase, which is in the centre, and we have cameras in the west compartment, which is to the left, and the north compartment, which is right at the top. I'm going to leave them going for about another 15 minutes, and then I'm going to start moving some of these cameras to other locations. If there's any way you'd like me to try and get a camera, let me know. There's a lot of road noise outside, and I'll see if I can move the camera there. It will be, of course, signal dependent. I'll put you back to the upper room. Jill's asking, how is the signal for further down on the spiral staircase? And it is practically non-existent. So you, at the centre, all the tunnel systems and the centre bottom of the spiral staircase, there is no signal. I've got plans for that, but at the moment, no signal. So this is the best we can do. But Tracy has very conveniently moved the camera in the west compartment, now looking up the long tunnel that runs to the parade ground, which we've had a lot of activity in. And we'll have a look, see what we see in that tunnel.
Wow. That was definite footsteps up there, wasn't it? Yeah. Did you hear them? Yeah, I did. I did. That was very definite footsteps.
Just let you guys know we're listening in what's happening. Can you get any more light towards the end of the tunnel?
We have no other light, but there was literally footsteps coming down. There was really significant footsteps coming down the tunnel. We've had a chair move as well.
Oh, there you go, brilliant.
Oh my
Camera
God.
got something to
Oh, your
focus
torch
on.
is amazing. Can we keep that on all night? Oh, can we need that? What light is that?
That's that one.
It's Ark and Counters one.
Yeah.
Can I have a torch back, please?
I've touched it now, so it's mine.
But you've got to stand here and point at the tunnel all night.
Have to spray it.
We can see that within half an hour how dark it's gone. From when we first started, there was loads of light, and now we're needing additional light, as well as the ones with the camera.
I was actually expecting to see a person
I
come
thought there was a
down.
person coming down. I really did.
I actually expected to see a person
Should we go
walk
up?
down. Yeah, let's go up there. Let's go up. Let's go up. It's got a torch.
Oh,
Come on, spirit, show yourself to us.
there we go.
There are lots of you around.
Oh, we've heard your footsteps.
A couple of watchers watching us.
I actually expected to see a person. They give you a footstep, that were amazing. That's not amazing. Well, that's amazing.
I was like, God, it's flipping talk to Jesus.
Watching The Shining the other day.
Goats can't make footsteps that sound like humans. No, definitely more than goats.
That
That
was
was we can hear up there
amazing.
now, we can't hear down here.
That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. This is like
There was definite footsteps up there. Very definitely.
absolutely. So, okay, I don't know if you can hear me. We've just been up to the tunnel. It's completely locked at the top. And at the top, you can hear the goats chewing their food. There's no way a person could come down there. Some footsteps we cannot explain at all.
Excellent.
That was amazing.
It was very distinct.
That was. I honestly expect to see like a camper come down. Thank you so much, spirits. Can we do it again?
Can we do something better? Can you come closer? Come closer to us.
Where's they go? Oh,
Can you let us see you? Somehow.
that's footsteps down there.
Over there.
Did you hear that? She wasn't moving.
There's an actual person over there.
Yeah,
is there?
mum. Your mum
Oh,
said, but
okay.
she stood still.
That's fair enough.
The mum wasn't moving. No. There's footsteps there.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Right, everyone stay still. What, that way? That's low. With you.
Right, that way.
That way. Okay.
So we're hearing lots of footsteps at the moment. Like I said, we've had a chair move. It seems to be getting walked. Lots of activity with walking.
I heard voices too.
Yeah, I've heard voices, a moan.
You getting that feeling? You getting that feeling?
Right, I'll leave you guys to it. We're going to go and have a look at the North Gophonia now.
Okay.
We have this is the top of the north, looking down towards the steps that then lead out onto the upper levels. There's a little box called a rook meter on the floor. It has a single red light that will flash more if you get any small signals. But I'll let you listen in now to the North Gophonia, and then we'll go check back on the West Gophonia and see how they're getting on.
That one? Absolutely.
Oh, look at that. Perfect.
Yeah.
Is it? That's
Works.
brilliant.
You
don't look more central. No, that's really good.
Okay. That's fine.
That's
You've
perfect.
lost your torch now.
Battery power 15%.
We've decided to come back and listen to you, Tracy.
Okay, we've stolen back our torch. More light. Unfortunately, I think the battery's going to die soon. We're 15%. Come on, spirits. We've heard your footsteps. We've heard you move the chair. that voices?
Is that what you were talking about earlier?
Yeah. Oh, Abby, mum's done, haven't she? Come on, spirits. Can you throw something for us? If I throw a stone, can you throw it back to me? I've got to throw a stone. Yeah. Can you throw it back to me, please, spirit? Mum and Abby's out there. So we're now hearing whispering as well. Is there a table here? Yeah. Is that? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I should have put a table. Yeah. Maybe you can move the chair again for us. Flip it over. No, don't put the thing on it. Flip it over. Flip it on. That's the one you What? What?
It's very different. I was asking you for footsteps and everything else. It's very different.
Come and sing for us. Go and dance. Come and shout.
Yes, please.
No.
Oh, wait, it's your phone on Friday. I just went off and not off it. No, it went off on its own. It went off.
It went off its own.
Good. Okay. That was something different. That's how we haven't had already.
Can we do that again? You seem to do it when we're not watching. Yeah.
No, that's true.
Ignoring you.
No. Was it you? You never do that. You can't do that.
Oh, really? Leaning it against it. Yes. Like you're waiting for someone. Yeah. Like that. Yes. Yeah.
See it?
Yeah. Who are you? Yeah, watching us. Like, well, what are you doing? That was you, wasn't it? No.
I heard a breath. I did.
Yeah, it's like that.
Who were you? It wasn't me.
No, it was in your area.
No, it was like you did it. Why did you think my second name? I'm sorry.
So we're hearing voices as well. Someone can see a guy leaning against another archway. Just leaning up against the wall. So over there, the archway, there's a guy to see, like, just leaning against watching us. I have a thing about that archway. You did, didn't you? You was a bit sort of uneasy about it. Yeah. Oh, okay. So when we first got here, I saw like a flash at the top. And because I know that there's people here, I just thought it would be a torch. Did they wait for the light to come down to the flip?
was that. It was that. That chair. No. Oh God. Oh no. Wow. That would freak me out as well. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That chair moved as you did move. You just did that chair.
Right. You're live at the moment. Well, so let me, what camera shall we go for? Can't see.
It's all about you.
So, the camera's still going there. Right, let me, it's exhausting. Right, so, sorry about that. Put on this layout. I have just run from the upper rooms all the way down the south, up Central Spiral, grab the camera, and then run into the west. That's quite exhausting. So, I am
Oh,
going.
and we've gone off.
There. Don't look at the spider. So, you remember I showed you that picture? And there was a V. Well, this is the V. We are outside. So I'm going to set the camera up here. Conveniently placed chair. Conveniently placed table. And a lot of flies. So, so if nothing else, this ghost hunting lark gets you healthy. So, if anyone knows this layout, I have just run from the south all the way up to from the accommodation rooms all the way up the south tunnel, central spiral, up the central spiral, all the way to the top, grab the camera, ran all the way down, all the way to the left of that picture, to the end of the Caponiers, the West Caponier, run outside, set up the cameras, and then ran all the way back. So I've now got two cameras because there's got quite a lot of activity in the north. I'm just going to let you listen to those cameras and I'll flip. They're quite close, so you can pick up sound from both. But I'll pick myself out to listen to what's happening with them.
Expect something rushing at you.
No, it's like, now you see like this last film, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to do that.
That's flat.
Like it's like, I do, you know, shaking, like, it be like shaking when you work on the wall. So,
Really?
please, the
There's
one
only
that you
two percent. I had yeah. Shopping. I think there was a cargo around. Yeah, that year. And then that's it. Went. I think it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know though. My fingernails a bit but he's not around.
Is she? I don't know who she is.
Oh, is she? Tommy. Oh, did they not? Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's had a baby with someone else.
Was it Tommy? Yeah.
No, that's what I meant.
That's fine.
I mean,
They're still together, I think. Oh, I know.
So Jackie just said that we had in the form of a circle, so try and pull me out, and also have my hair pulled and stones thrown at us. And Jill was asking what kind of experiences happened in the fort. Well, it's different. Different areas have different phenomena, and as Jackie's just pointed out, not all on the same visit, because you get lots of different things happening in different areas. Now, it used to be that most of the kinetic activity, in terms of stone throwing and that kind of effect, happened in the West Caponier, but then it's changed. Now, we have done over 165 investigations at Fort Widley over a 15-year period, and because we keep copious notes on all this, we can track when different spirits metabolize. What to explain that is this. In the North Caponier, always used to be activity in the north of the Peat Room, and it used to be a particularly malevolent male character used to be in that space. This dominant male character, who was always described as being 7 foot tall, towering over people. So when you're in seance, people opposite would suddenly say, "There's someone behind you," and then his head would then loom over the group in trying to penetrate the circle. He's the one that would force people to the ground and make them feel sick, and then would play with parts of your body. And we've seen people with lanyards being lifted up, hair being lifted up, hoods being moved. And then, interestingly, it moved around in the north. And then over a period of 5 years, it moved up the North Tunnel. And it then started to affect people in the central spiral staircase. Because very often we start doing seance in the central spiral, everyone facing outwards, so that you have nothing but a dark tunnel in front of you to look at. And then what would happen is that then it started migrating down the south tunnel, and that people would go into a ventilation duct, which is a tiny little narrow corridor. And then what we found was quite interesting in terms of this character was then sensed independently by groups coming in and were saying, "What have you picked up?" And I'm picking up a male. Okay, could you describe the male? He's quite tall, dominating. All these kind of words would occur. And then this character migrated all the way down the south tunnel, which is great. And then he migrated back up, and then it appeared briefly in the west. And some of the activity in the west then went over to east, and then east went to the south tunnel. And over a 5-year cycle, we saw this activity moving around, because we managed to do almost an investigation every single month, and therefore we had this map. And we've always got something. So people have asked, what kind of activity, and we'll get something on nearly every single investigation. Here we go. James has just said, my last visit, I had a very tall man standing in front of me in the staircase. I have to go, which staircase? Every area has staircases. So we need to know, is it north, south, east, or west, or even the central spiral? So we've mapped these different types of activity. From anything hearing whistle in the central spiral, there is a legend of a drummer boy who fell to his death down the central spiral. Probably not this fort, though. It's amazing how a story goes, and if you see a central spiral, they go, "Oh, it must be here." It's like, well, yeah, Purbrook and Southwark and Nelson all have central spirals. And Haley's just pointed out stone throwing, something happens a lot here. Feet of an oppressive feeling in the Peat Room, that room I told you about earlier. One of the tunnels had a feeling of someone watching us, standing in front of us, and all the same a few times. So it is this macabre sense of being watched. And there you go. James has just pointed out it was a central spiral that he had that experience as a tall man. But as I said, something which we used to pick up in the north, migrated over a 5-year cycle down to the central spiral. And we'd find that the activity would change, move, and morph. Sometimes it's very physical, so sometimes you'll have physical presence of being pushed, shoved. Sometimes you'll be audible, you'll hear footsteps, you'll hear a voice, you'll hear a whisper, you'll hear a stone throw. And other times it is that more imperceptible, I feel as if there's someone standing behind me. Literally, I feel their breath, they are there. And that's very difficult to try and describe objectively. Hades felt an oppressive atmosphere, not the feet, yes, felt an oppressive atmosphere. And that's very much what it describes in some of these places, much more than Purbrook, actually. Purbrook has a very different types of activity, and Fort Southwark that we've done as well. Not the DJ tunnels, the actual underneath Fort Southwark we've done that, which matches Widley. Every single fort is supposed to have a different layout to confuse anyone, but If you captured one fort, you wouldn't have a blueprint of another. But actually, so Nelson and Pembroke are completely different, and they're different to Widley, but Widley and Southwark are very similar. And they have, again, a very different atmosphere. Southwark's not ever used, and so therefore we were there is like very electrifying because they'd obviously not encountered ghost hunters before, whereas Fort Widley is used all the time, but there's a lot of activity here. There's rumours of what happened in the tunnels. The fort was never really used very effectively. It was thought that it was built really as a Napoleonic threat, not to Napoleon Bonaparte, Napoleon III. There's going to be another attack from France. These forts went up by Palmerston. They're known as the Palmerston Follies because he spent an absolute fortune. This fort alone cost £72,000, which in 1869 was a lot of money. And so they thought this is vitally important, never needed. By the time they'd finished building it, the whole threat disappeared. Yes, it was used in the First World War. Yes, it was used in the Second World War. Yes, it was used during the Cold War and as a nuclear bunker for the council. And it's still used as a communications hub now, but it's never really been fully functional. And therefore, the fort came into disrepair quite early on, and the tunnels were never really used as they should have been. And therefore, you've got this whole tunnel system that soldiers know about, people at Portsmouth know about, but isn't officially being used. And if you've got all these dark spaces, what's going to happen? Well, all sorts go on. Smuggling, prostitution, gambling dens, all sorts of activities occur. And so very often the characters we get here, dominating male character, two dominating male characters, one's like a Sergeant Major, or one is this more demonic kind of, I use that word lightly, character with a top hat, very imposing. The other one is very barks orders, hates women. Then there is this female presence, Elizabeth, Liz, Led, all sort of variations of that. She's more caring, and she really seems to look after these two children that are found here. Potentially the boy is the drummer boy, maybe from the wrong fort, who knows. She seems to look after these two children. Their presence moves around. The playful stone throwing is probably the children. The more emotional outburst is usually from the female, when she seems to protect the two children from the dominating male character, the Sergeant Major. And he's the one who barks orders and push people to the ground and really try and show his authority. And then the top level is this really oppressive male character with this, people describe top hat because he's so tall. He's dominates 7 foot tall character. And he's the one that's sort of the top dog, but he keeps in the background and then comes in like a ninja, straight in, pushes the pressure, then disappears again. Sergeant Major is all mouth, and bar, like a Sergeant Major, that's what we call that. Stand up to him, he just loses interest. So some of the characters that you might find that we detected over the past 15 years. The other thing which we might do, I might try and set up a camera, is we do some mirror scrying up in what we call the horse room, because it's got this enormous mirror. And interestingly, we get an interesting mirror scrying effects. When you do mirror scrying, you ask for spirit to manifest themselves over your face. The idea being is that your facial characteristics will change, and you potentially can see the spirit you're trying to communicate with, or rather, people can. So we set it up that someone looks in like the front of a mirror, you have a low-level light on their face, you have people to the side looking in the mirror, but also objectively baseline readers who are looking at the face. So if all the people who look in the reflection going, I can see their eyes are opening, or I can see their mouth is moving, the people just looking at the real face can say they haven't moved objectively. And again, what people detect there. Now, obviously you get the skull. Now that would happen when you uplight someone, because the dark recesses of the eyes become much bigger, and this line show, and therefore it will look like a skull, like the beard does. But when then you change and you stare through this face and all sorts of different things, from a Chinese character with a tiny Fu Manchu moustache to a goatee here, and they look much more like a cavalier, to a skull, to the devil, and a werewolf kind of character, and a whole fluctuation of characters again appear on a cycle. So we just ask, what can you see? They describe what they can see. We can't throw anything. We have to just go, can you describe it best you can? They use all these random words, and then these random words come up with these descriptions. And on a regular cycle, we get these different characters appearing on that cycle, whether it be the skeleton face, whether it be the devil face, whether it be the Chinese face, or the cavalier type character. they're different, and they seem to be on a 3-year cycle as well, as opposed to the 5-year cycle of the spirits moving around the fort. Who knew they moved around? But luckily, we have accumulated so much evidence on this place that we can actually do that analysis and show that there is this cycle of activity. So that's me prattling on enough. The road noise is exceptionally annoying. I'm going to shut up and let you watch the North Caponier, which is currently empty. All the teams are now in the west. Hello. So part of the team has come back for a break. So in the background, they are saying it's very quiet down at the moment. So I'm going to wait for the people from the west tunnel to come back and let me know what's been happening down in the tunnel, and then we'll let you know. Right, making drinks. Catch you later.
Bring my drone to the drone.
Oh, yeah, for that.
Bring it along to like, and you can do like the.
So, Alison, you said you want DE face masks. What a good idea. If I can either see or speak to you, do that so I can actually be heard. So I just play the video so you can see what the tunnel systems look like. If you're interested in joining us at the Portsdown Brickworks in 2 weeks' time, I'm just going to put up the event on Facebook shortly. If you want to get your tickets, you can only have 15 people there. I'm going to put you back down to the West Tunnel.
Mummy, over here. We've got to go in a minute. Your last one. No, like a wall, isn't it? Oh, right, yeah. Such a shame that them put that.
It's not us, so there's no one else in the room with me. So I don't know who is. So I don't know what that noise was that we heard. So there's no one outside, so that's a little bit weird because a lot of noise came through. And I'm quite surprised that the A-team's still up in the west. They've been there for 2 hours now. I thought they were going to come back for a drink. I know that a team have gone down to the north and they're trying to move the camera into the peep room just for Don. But they haven't come back online, so I've got a horrible feeling that we can't get a signal out from inside the peep room because it's quite dense. So if it doesn't appear for the next 5 minutes, I will be shutting it down because we need to go off and carry on investigating, and it's quite disturbing to put these cameras on. But I hope it's been fascinating. We can't really show you this place in its full glory. It is such an enormous site. It is so dramatic, but unfortunately, it's so far underground that effectively we can't get any kind of signal. But I've got plans. And so when we come back later next month, we will be going deeper into the tunnels themselves and doing it from the tunnels as opposed to outside the Poniers. I've got a way of bringing the signal in. So I'm going to let you listen to the rest of their investigation in the west, and if the north does pop up, I will let you see it. But otherwise, I'm going to find out who on earth made that noise in the upper rooms. Well, this is very exciting because we might have a live stream from the peak room down deep in the North Tunnel. This is quite impressive. I really didn't think a signal was going to come out. It's so dark, we can't even see what we're looking at. But this is the peak room.
Signal. Looks like we're live, but the signal here is pretty sketchy, guys.
I don't know if you can hear me, Sam, but we can see a picture of a doorway. I think I turned the sound down, so you can't hear me. Well, I've seen it all now. A live broadcast from the peak room, 100 foot underground. That's actually quite impressive. And if we can do that, we can do others. That's giving me the ambition now, so that when we come back next time, we will actually set up live cameras from inside these rooms. I've got a plan. Interestingly, that tunnel, Jill mentioned the flash, and I just the point where I magnified it was because I saw that flashing again. Not only the flashing, but it then moved. It flashed and moved, which is quite interesting. So whether it's an insect that manages to flash and move from left to right, half into the middle of the tunnel. It's quite impressive that Sam has managed to get a signal from, technically he's outside the pit room, those steps up or a step up into the pit room.
It's really scary.
I do have plenty of video footage from inside the pit room at night time on night visions, on vigils taken in night vision. And I will be streaming some stuff in night vision next time. I've got plans on how to do that as well. But this is a live feed. All the way down the bottom of the north tunnel at Fort Widley. 100 foot underground. Yes, Kelly, a plan. So the plan is that we will be putting teams down into the areas that we want to investigate. So the bottom of the west and the bottom of the north tunnels. I will have the camera set up and you will be joining them as they investigate. This time, I thought we'd try something different. They kept in the background, you looked at the location. But I think actually this time it's an opportunity to watch what they do. So what happens now is that we will be resuming paranormal investigations on a smaller scale. We will be inviting small groups to come and join us, and there'll be a part of the evening that we then broadcast live, and then we switch the cameras off and we carry on investigating. Because what we find is sometimes when the cameras go out, different things happen. So thank you, Sam, for managing to get us a signal all the way down in 100 foot underground, down here at Fort Widley. Strange noises. Still haven't worked out what that noise was in that room, what was going on in the background. Just for Don, we got a live stream from the peat room. And there was that remarkably weird movement and footsteps in that West Tunnel parade. So I think we'll call it like that. But thank you for watching. What we're going to do is come back and do something a little bit more ambitious next time. Or we're going to see whether we can capture the tall, dark character directly from the peat room live on camera. What could possibly go wrong? Anyway, I'll let you carry on looking at the picture of the North Caponier and see where we will be next. We will definitely be going live from the Portsmouth Brickworks in 2 weeks' time. Tickets for that are now available if you want to go onto the Facebook page. Only 15 places available. I mean, maximum capacity of the brickworks, where hopefully we'll be investigating outside. I mean, it's a lovely evening. That's why I've got the windows open for plenty of fresh air. So we'll be doing the same at the brickworks. Have a good week, everyone. Take care. We'll see you again. Bye bye.